Missouri Prepper here, telling you need to stockpile, 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 because SHTF is on its way. Every video I watch, it's like that. You gotta stockpile because the end of the world's just around the corner. And then you got these people who are convinced that the zombie apocalypse is gonna be here. It doesn't matter how well you prep or how well you do anything. The hordes of zombies are gonna be coming from the cities, and they're gonna take everything you have. Like they're not scared of bullets, because you know, when I watch self-defense videos, and I've taken self-defense classes, it's trained on you that when you start shooting at people, they tend to stop what they're doing. Just the sound alone tends to scare them. It would seem to me that if I'm just going to stand here and let people take my food, then I'm pretty stupid. I know you're going to have a security safe 15,000 feet underground. Better get busy. The reality doesn't match what they say. Now, I understand security is important, but it's not like that hordes of people are going to come down to the country and steal my 15 chickens. They're just not. I've said this in previous videos, and it's just incredible to me that they're convinced that's what's going to happen. First of all, I do not live in a farming community. So if the hordes of people are going to come down with their never-ending bullet guns, and I've said that before, they're going to have, you know, 10,000 people out there with their never-ending bullet guns to take my 15 chickens. Somebody's not going to get a meal, so why would they come here? It's going to take too much energy, whether it's gasoline or human energy. You know, they're going to be hungry. They're going to want to go someplace where there's food. There's no food here, so they're not going to come here. Now, they may go to a farming community. They may. Place with lots of chickens and lots of pigs and lots of cows. They may go there, and they may try to steal food. But remember, we're talking about city folks. They're going to come out here and they're going to get a chicken. Are they actually going to know how to butcher chicken? Are they going to be capable mentally to butcher a chicken? I understand hungry people can do some really interesting things, so I'm told. But I also know that I see it all the time worldwide. People starve to death and there's food right next to them. They won't do anything about it. The reality is you gotta have to build yourself a bunker. Because, I mean, there's things you can do that I can't say on YouTube that you could use to defend your property so they couldn't even make it on the property. But I don't think I could actually say those things on YouTube. But you got to think smarter than the zombies that are coming down here, apparently. There's just this romantic feeling from Hollywood that I think a lot of preppers have bought into. And it's just not realistic. It just doesn't seem all that realistic to me. I mean, I've mentioned before that if you're really worried about the hordes of people coming, I live in a little tiny house. I don't think that the biggest concern is my little tiny house. They're going to want to go someplace with resources, lots of gasoline, lots of food, lots of whatever. And they're not going to want a lot of resistance. It would seem smarter that they're going to be sneaking around, looking to see if this house or that house has occupants in it, knocking on the door to see if there's anybody going to answer the door. They're not going to want to have a confrontation because they don't want to get shot just as much as I don't want to get shot. But you can sprawl things out in the front yard and make it look like you've already been ransacked, and people probably won't show up. I mean, I've heard people say, you can't get the water out of your well because then they're going to know you got water and the hordes of people are going to come and overwhelm you. Well, think about this. Hordes of people. What made these hordes of people become a horde? It's dangerous. If we're actually talking about the dangers, why would I join a horde? Now, think about this. All the people that keep talking about that there's going to be hordes of people. Let me ask you, would you join a horde of people, you personally, and come to somebody's house that you know that could be potentially armed? I mean, we live in a SHTF situation, and the zombie apocalypse is here, and these hordes of people are saying, let's go ransack that house. Well, it looks like it's heavily defended, Joe. Joe being the leader of the horde, I guess. So, Joe, I don't know. That's not a good idea. Oh, no, we're going to go and take that place. And the homeowner has explosives or has, some rapid firearms. And they start picking off about 20 of them all of a sudden. I mean, just your horde of people, let's say you had a horde of people of 60 and you just lost 1/3 of them just because the guy saw you coming in the window. Think about this. You're a horde. You're not very invisible. So are you going to stand there and, I'm going to keep on hoarding. I'm just going to keep on going just like a zombie? Or are you going to say, oh my gosh, he just wiped out 1/3 of us. I'm running. I'm out of here, Joe. Bye. That seems more realistic. The reality of, oh no, you're going to have to bunker. You're just not going to be able to contain it. You see, you'll watch. But they never talk about the realities of things. The reality is I don't have to be Rambo. And that's the impression I get from these YouTubers is, I'm Rambo, nobody's smarter than me. We're going to have a community here, and we're going to grow and rebuild society. Well, you keep talking about the hordes of people that are going to come down and take your stuff. So now you're going to invite a horde of people into your community to take your stuff. So what's the difference? Why not just invite the horde of people that want to take your stuff? In my experience, when people become desperate, you are the last on their mind. You become a target. They may work with you 5, 6 months, and then something happens and they think, no, I need an advantage here. Whatever that is. They feel like they're not contributing as much, and they feel like everybody's talking behind their back, and they're like, oh my gosh, this isn't going well. And so they're going to do something to get better stature because their livelihood is at risk, which is eating and feeding their family. So I try to explain things in a reasonable manner. First of all, stockpiling is useless. I've put out poll after poll after poll, and I get people telling me all the time, no, you got to stockpile and live self-sufficiently. So let me understand this. You're going to waste all your money stockpiling and then try to live self-sufficiently. So you got to spend money both ways. Stockpiling is a huge waste of money and it costs a lot, whereas living self-sufficiently actually reduces the cost that you have to have even to live just regular. Now people will say, Rob, you got canned food in there, that's your stockpile. That's not my stockpile. That's my preservation from the last season. People all throughout history has preserved food through the winter. They get their food through the summer, preserve it through the winter. You need to stop worrying so much and focusing so much on stockpiling and start thinking about how can I reproduce. It's interesting to me. Today on my channel, I posted a community tab poll. And if you haven't been to a community tab, go to my channel. There's several buttons up there. You'll see videos, playlist, and community tab. Right there at the top, you click community, you'll see all the polls I've given. And I said, can you survive a multi-year SHTF? And some people actually replied in the comments, I have never considered a multi-year SHTF. And I find that interesting because that's all I've ever considered. Anything else is minor. Tornado come through the area and knock down some electric, minor, no big deal. I can get through a few weeks. I don't need to be a massive prepper to get through a few weeks. I'm concerned about long-term activities. I told you a while back that I watched a news episode and they said that transformers on your power lines, the transformer that changes the energy in your power lines down to a voltage that your house can handle, they are expecting 2 to 6 year wait times to get new ones. Apparently China builds them. They're just not building them right now for whatever reason. So 6 years, that's multi-year. That's a long time without electricity. Can you handle that? That means no gas stations. That means no grocery stores. That means you are on your own. That is what I consider SHTF. That's like, I don't cuss on this channel, but stuff, use a different word. That is the stuff. That is the bad stuff. Even if you are saying, okay, I need to survive 6 months. 6 months is no big deal. I don't consider you a prepper if you're just prepping for 6 months. I figure that anybody should have 6 months worth of being able to live. I mean, think about this. You don't have to eat anything for a month. Your body would be okay for a month. The only thing you need is water. But if you really are wanting to be a prepper, I consider it self-sustaining, then you really need to think long-term. How are you going to get through it long-term? And I've always thought this way. I've never considered it as a short-term solution. But there are some things in the prepper community they never talk about. Where are you going to get your meat? Well, I'll go hunting. Okay, you're going to go hunting, and then how are you going to preserve it? Now, I've talked about that we can our foods. That's how we preserve. We have a freezer that we run off solar panels, but if SHTF were to happen, I'd get off the solar panels. Right now, it's convenient to run my generators. I can get propane or gasoline. I have propane and gasoline generators. It's convenient. I can go get it right now. But if electric went out for 6 years and I couldn't get propane anymore, I'd shut off the refrigerator, start canning all my food, not just, a year's worth of food, can it all. That way I can run my well pump off my solar panels. Right now, I can't run the refrigerator and the well pump at the same time unless it's really sunny. But if I just saved all the electric that I made just for the well pump, I'd have plenty of electric. So the things you need to survive SHTF is food, and this is it. Food, water, shelter, and defense. That's it. So today I was thinking, Carolyn and I go shopping still. I mean, we're not in SHTF right now, so when we find sales, we'll go and get a sale. No reason not to. That way we can have a variety of foods. And today we found pork, a pork roast for 99 cents a pound. It's the cheapest I've seen it. I don't even recall seeing it before all this mess happened with the inflation and recessions and all that. Even before, maybe before the pandemic. 99 cents a pound for pork roast. Well, we don't have enough freezer space for a roast, so that means we have to can it. What we do is we try to buy sausage and hamburger, and we put it in Ziploc bags and we squeeze it really tight so it's a flat package like that, and then we can stand them up end on end and all the way across the freezer. But when we put a pork roast in there, it just uses up all the freezer space and we don't have any more room. Well, to resolve that problem, so we can still get 99 cents pork and still have the ability to store it, we have a hand grinder. Now this is a very cheap one, and I'll put a product list right here. It'll be on the screen, one side or another. You touch the screen, the product list will jump up on the screen, you hit it again, it'll drop down at the bottom. And I'll put that at on there, and you can buy it from Google or YouTube. I don't know who sells it. I only make 3 cents off of it or something. I mean, it's not very much for each click. This is a cheap one. Now, you can buy a $125 one and they work so much better according to the reviews. But I just bought this, I think it was $25 or whatever the price is, and this grinds your meat. Now, if an SHTF were to happen and I got a deer, for example, now you would think, oh yeah, that's a lot of meat that you're going to have to grind up with this thing that just doesn't work very well. But that's not true. I would can the meat, so I don't need this. This is just so I can catch the sales. So if you did get chicken or you did have a freezer, these are the kind of things you're going to need. And you don't hear preppers talking about these kind of things. As a matter of fact, I rarely hear preppers talk about kitchen items. And that is where most of my focus is living off grid, is kitchen items. What is it that I need so I can eat? Food is something that is really hard to come by. It's really hard to store, preserve. It's a difficult job. And so anything that I can do to make food better for SHTF or living off grid, I'm focused on it. But hey, these tough guys, oh no. As a matter of fact, I heard a prepper say one time, I don't worry about the kitchen. That's the wife's duties. Well, you better be worried about it. So again, click that product list. I really appreciate it. So I hope I can inspire you to think ahead. So you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.